It's our Sunday Facebook Live, which is I'll call it a semi-regular event. Oh, because we can't do it next Sunday because I'm on the road, travelling back from Sydney because I'm down there for my granddaughter's birthday, and a wedding of a close friend. So we're moving right along. Zoran, David, g'day. I want to talk today about your thinking in regard to auditions, because there's a journey that actors have, and it's and you build this big excitement and this big tension. And why? Because your whole journey with regard to auditions is that it is outcome dependent. In fact, it doesn't work unless you get the part. Oh, failure. No. It only works if you don't leave a memory. With that in mind, I want you to understand that therefore not only is an audition your greatest freedom, which I'll explain in a second, but it's the fact that you must take that freedom. Because without taking that freedom, you are just delivering what the next actor is going to deliver, and the one after him, and the one after him, and the one after him, and the one after him. Take it from me. I'm a casting director. I've been casting since the early 80s, so before many of you were born. And I've seen a lot of auditions in that time. That's the thinking I want you to understand. When I first started as an actor, there was no such thing as a screen test because cameras hadn't been developed that were domestic, that could be used in an office. They were only in studios. That's what I want you to understand. Now, okay, when I say auditions, I'm thinking screen tests, because I deal in screen work. But obviously, the audition that you have for a theatre piece is also the most freedom you have. Because what happens when you're on stage doing an audition? They say, "Oh, here you go, let's try one." When do they step in and say, "No, you can't do that," or "We want you to do it a different way," or anything like that? In fact, they don't. They don't. It's all yours. The space, that time between action and cut, is yours. And the same applies for a screen test. The absolute same applies for a screen test. And more importantly, a bit like this Facebook Live event, it is one shot, one MCU of you and you alone. So you better take freedoms. You better build freedoms in. You better make sure what you're doing is that you take the freedom of the frame. Because if you stand on the mark and look at and deliver the lines exactly as they are on the page, what I call the writer's version of the character. Because that's what happens, isn't it? You've got a drama teacher who says, what is the writer intending with this character? The writer, what was he intending? He was intending to get paid. He's a television writer. He's a film writer. All he wants to do is to get paid. It's his job. It's what he does. Oh, I've just wet my hair because it's so hot here and now it's running down my glasses. So therefore, in terms of the writer's character, the great writers, look at Shakespeare. How many different versions have you seen of a Romeo or a Hamlet or something like that? It's because there's freedom. Did the director find that freedom, or did the actor put that freedom in there? And I think you'll find many times it's the actor that actually has that inspiration, certainly on screen. Certainly on screen. I've got a few points I want to go through with you with this regard. The freedom that you have. What is freedom? What is freedom in the frame? It means you have the freedom to move anywhere in the frame. It means you have freedom to put pauses in the wrong places. It means you have freedom to pace it up. The pace and the rhythm of the scene is absolutely exactly what you choose. You choose your choice, your freedom. That's the opportunity you have. I did say at a gathering of actor graduates, I said auditioning is not acting, and to which the entire room went quiet. You could hear actually the entire room go, auditioning is not acting? Because, that's the the pedestal that actors put auditioning on and casting directors on. No. What are we doing in that room? We're exploring the character. And what are you doing with your audition? You're delivering your first draft. The first draft of your version of the character. The first draft. How many drafts did the writer take to get to here? Okay. And let me tell you, why am I downplaying the writer's involvement in the character? It's because the writer is involved and engaged with plot. The writer's job is to deliver plot. It's a bit difficult to sort of suddenly make your lead character kind of something else, or your character in your audition something else, if it's going to change the plot. But if you're just changing the character and the relationships the character shares with everybody, the character can evolve. The character can be taken by you. The character can be owned by you. It's the freedom you have. You get on set and it's locked. You get on into rehearsal and the director's got clear ideas of what he wants. You get on the stage, you've got to hit specific cues because the stage manager is waiting to hear that cue to trigger a lighting cue, a kind of somebody's entrance or something like that. There are so many disciplines, so many techniques that are involved. That disciplines is the word. On stage, on set, on soap operas, on daytime TV. But in an audition, no, they're yours. Start to finish, a 90-second scene, do whatever you want. Okay. Do whatever you want. That was a little bit freewheeling on my part. Do whatever you want. No, you can't do whatever you want, but you can take ownership of that character. The character sits on the page. You're taking it and you're saying, what about if we tweaked it in this way? And it's not a suggestion. You're not suggesting it up front. Don't feel you have to get permission. Do not ask permission for doing anything with the character. Ask forgiveness at the end after having taken the character into your place, after taking that freedom. 1 second, I just want to sort of check. Okay. In all the years I've seen of auditions, actors walk in and they're absolutely beholden to the page. When you're sitting in a waiting room, what do you see? You see actors with, and they're doing, more importantly, what do you see in the waiting room? You see an actor with pages and pages of notes all over his sides. You think he actually thinks that sort of the sides are the kind of the be all and end all. The guides are the sides are the audition Bible. No, they're not. They're a blueprint. They're a blueprint of the kind of territory we want to inhabit. They're a blueprint of the kind of journey that the character takes. But and when you get into rehearsal or on set, it's the director's choice what goes on. But when you get into the audition, it's your choice. There's a fabulous piece on YouTube of Johnny Drama auditioning for Minneapolis CSI or something like that. So look it up, Johnny Drama auditioning for CSI, and if you look that up in Entourage, have a look at that audition that they've set up. Have a look at the scene. When he walks into that room, everybody who is behind the camera are not actors. They're creators. They're creators of Entourage. They are actually the writers, the director, the producer, the writer's manager. That's all the people. More importantly, when he says, hey, what do you want me to do, guys? Because I can do this a million different ways. What was their answer? Their answer was, you choose yours. Make a choice. Make a choice. In your last audition, did you make a choice? Or did you follow the page? Did you make a choice to own the character? Did you make a choice to strike out and find kind of a pause? Or when the writer has put exclamation marks or angry or all that kind of thing on the page, he's not talking to you. He's not talking to the actor. It is not an actor's delivery Bible. It's a document that communicates to everybody in the production. I think, in fact, what you'll find, this is what I think happens with a writer's thinking, and he thinks, this producer, who is going to give me all the money to make this film, or not me, but another producer, this executive producer who's got all the money, he's not a filmmaker. He doesn't understand character or shots or edits, or doesn't understand it. He understands deals. That's his job. There is a process that understands deals. And who's that document talking to? The producer, who doesn't understand filmmaking. The producer who only understands doing a deal. Therefore, what do we do when we look at your audition? We don't sit here and follow the script and watch what you do. No. We sit there and we wait for something that is compelling. And if you are beholden to the page, if you are delivering every punctuation mark that's on the page, then you're dull. You're seriously dull. Take it from a casting director who's had to sit through countless auditions. And I just want to say to the actor, come on, guys. Why did you become an actor? You became an actor because you're a creative individual. You have a creative spirit. You have a yearn to try something, to try things. And when you get into the space, you don't. You don't try at all. Let me go back to my point on sort of auditions and not acting. An audition is 90 seconds of your version of the character. You are delivering that version with scant information. You haven't been allowed to read the rest of the script. You don't know who they're casting for the opposite character. Many times you don't know what's happening in the scene before and the scene after. You don't know the character's arc or where this scene sits in that arc. You call that acting? With all that lack of information? No. No, that's not acting. That's a different form of performance. It's a bit like busking, isn't it? Is the best busker who performs music, say, the best busker the guy that just sort of stands there and plays music, or the guy that engages with the audience, the guy that connects, the guy that delivers a dynamic in his busking act that actually connects to people, which makes them stand and watch? And what you have to do in your audition is you have to make us watch. You have to compel us. But if you sit there and you actually faithfully deliver the page, then you've missed your opportunity. You haven't taken the freedom that is in the opportunity to audition, the chance to create a great, memorable character. And if you go there and steadfastly, faithfully deliver the writer's version of the character, on board. On board. 1 second. I think everybody has qualities that make them an individual, apart from away from everybody else. And let's face it, that's why you became an actor, isn't it? To kind of engage and sort of, but to create great characters, not to be a carbon copy of what the page is. And I believe if you walk out and try and steadfastly deliver what's on the page, therefore you have diluted, you have taken away all your individuality. You've said, my individuality is not important in this process. I'm sorry, you're wrong. Your individuality is absolutely important in this process. I believe in any field of kind of performance, and I can even talk about the kind of, what's his name, Tony Robbins, the kind of the motivational speakers and all that kind of thing. They deliver the same content effectively, but it's the way they deliver that content, the individuality they deliver that content with means whether they succeed or not. In the same way, the busker doesn't. If you walk down one of those kind of, mid-city malls and you see a big crowd around a busker, I bet it's not because he's playing Tchaikovsky or Chopin or he's playing something fantastic. It's because he's engaging. He's an individual. He's taken that freedom, the freedom that he feels as a busker, because he can get out there and do whatever he wants. You can take that. You can take that. You can take that into the room. But no one gives it to you. You have to take it. Let me just check my notes and just see if I haven't missed anything. Okay. I want to make another point, and the fact is that, so, an actor's lament is, I did this audition, but they asked me to do all sorts of things. I mean, they don't know what they're looking for. I think it's a kind of a defensive attitude from actors. The defensive attitude is, I didn't get the part, so therefore they don't know what they're looking for. So how could I possibly give them what they're looking for? That's the statement from a dull actor. That's the statement from an actor who wants to follow the page. That's the statement from an actor who cannot create individuality in a character. And that's what screen work is all about. Individuality. Successful screen work. Successful screen work. Name two movie stars that are alike, identical. You can't. Because they're not, okay. I saw Kate Bosworth last night in date with Tad Hamilton, and I thought she and Kate Hudson, there's similarities, but I think it's the blonde and the kind of blue eyes and the sparkly personality I'm engaging with. There's a lot more innocence with Kate Bosworth. Kate Hudson is more knowing. You know, there's difference. And you've got to play up those individualities. And that's your opportunity in an audition. So just let me follow through on that point, though, of saying that, they don't know what they're looking for. You know, right? We don't know what we're looking for. Well, no, we actually know the area that we're looking for. It's on the page. It's not exactly the page. It's not exactly the page. If it was exactly the page, then you will never ever do another audition in the room again, because casting directors will be superfluous, because they'll just send the scene out to 1,000 people, say send it in, and they'll say, did he pick the comma in the third line? No, great, get rid of him. Because now suddenly it's not about how individual you are, it's how well you conform. There's the kind of word you want to be used to describe you as an actor, isn't it? Yeah, you're a conformist. I think not. I've got to say, we want you to be great. The biggest, when I start suggesting people for auditions for a role, and what happens is we do the auditions, we get them in, and the producer and the director are here and all that kind of thing. Me saying, oh, they're going to be fabulous, they're going to be fantastic. You don't get the part because I think you're fantastic. You get the audition because I think you're fantastic. But what gets you the part? The audition. The only thing standing between you and getting a better part, a bigger part, is the audition. And you say, no, I've got to get the audition in the first place. That's right. If you don't display individuality, if you don't deliver kind of, a thinking that is outside the square, a thinking that takes the writer's document, the writer's sides, and interprets it, not mimics it, interprets it. Unless you do that, you've not taken the freedom in the frame, the freedom of the audition, and you must. You truly, truly must. I just want to finish up with, we do not fill a casting with actors who'll do a good job. Okay? They're a dime a dozen. Actors that are good, there's lots. We don't fill a casting with actors who are predictable, who, I know exactly what he's going to do. Why would I get you into the audition then? I wouldn't. We do not audition actors who simply deliver a character we've seen before. And by saying seen before, I mean 3 minutes ago, because that performance just walked out the door. He was the actor we just saw. And the way you deliver what the actor before you delivered was you follow the page, you follow the punctuation on the page. I want you to stop thinking like an actor, stop thinking like a drama teacher, stop thinking the page is everything you need, and I want you to start thinking like a casting director. I want you to read the scene. I want you to sit back and I want you to see that scene on the screen. See that scene on the screen, the dynamic, the energy, the momentum that is in that scene. That's what they're looking for. Can they tell you can they describe that to you? No, they can't. It's not that they don't know what they're looking for. It's just that we can't explain what we're looking for. As I say, go back and search Entourage, Johnny Drama audition for CSI, and have a look at the scene. But most importantly, listen to what they say behind the camera. Because what they say behind the camera is exactly what you should be doing. And interestingly enough, Johnny Drama, because Johnny Drama is a bit of a fall guy character, he didn't make choices. He just delivered the straight and narrow. He had other issues as well. Let me just go through a couple of comments. Oh, there's lots of people here. Hey, Brody. Kyton, yeah. Funny, I always try and tone down my individuality. I'm told I'm too unique. Well, Karma, what you have to do is you have to fashion it. You have to fashion it with one eye on the writer's version of the character. I think if you're If you're saying tone down your individuality, perhaps you're pushing it too much. Perhaps you're trying to force it out there. You don't have to be. It doesn't have to be forced out. See, the thing is, we see it. We can see it. We can see the performance. Because that's what we do all day, every day. We look at actors auditioning. I figure I'm up close to 200,000 auditions now that I've seen, conducted. Auditions for me, because I don't delegate to it. I don't delegate to an assistant and then see the tape. So, and you will probably be aware that I'm a big fan of self-taping and a big trainer of actors to self-tape, because it is a golden opportunity. Because you think there's freedom in the casting director space? Wow, imagine how much freedom there is in your self-tape. In your self-tape. But again, so many actors walk in with this as their Bible, with this as their pulpit, dare I say. Am I allowed to say that on a Sunday? Maybe not. Light bulbs, fantastic, Lisa Marie. Thanks, Cam. Hey there. Hey there, Kath. Great, fantastic. It seems like I'm covering comments, unless anybody's... No, Maha, that's all right. You know, there's a recording. There'll be a recording online. It'll be posted very, very soon. Needed for your audition tomorrow. Absolutely. Well, okay, Maha. I mean, I'm betting. Okay, Maha's got an audition tomorrow. And I'm betting you've poured over the page. And the first thing you do, and so many drama teachers say, learn the lines, because we can't do anything with the character until we learn the lines. Oh, I say. Yok, 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 yok. Funny. What do you mean you can't touch the character until you've learned the line? You can't touch the lines until you know the character. And in other words, pouring over the page is going to lock you into everything that's on the page. Lock you into the whole journey, the writer's journey of the character. It's your character. Remember what I said. An audition is the first draft of your version of the character. The first draft of your version of the character. I think we're just about done. I think individual areas, people you watch with Eddie Kaufman. Thank you. Yes, absolutely, Nate. Crazy karma. Great. Hello, just got a wee roll because I gave the opposite to the norm. Go, Greg. Thanks, Tracy. Congratulations. No, I think we're done there. My pleasure. So this is a kind of a semi-regular little event. It kind of, you know, we announce it on the Friday and Saturday. Just stay in touch with the kind of the Audition Technique Facebook page. We do post it on other kind of actor-centric, actor supporting kind of, you know, Facebook pages. I just like hanging out with actors, really. And of course, it feeds the ego a little bit, doesn't it? I mean, I push play and now I just sort of chat. There's a kind of an element of, hey, I have this freedom. I have this freedom. Am I sitting here trying to deliver to you information? Am I sitting here trying to follow a well-worn path? Am I sitting here trying to give you, because I've seen some Facebook Lives and they're pretty dull. They're pretty dull because they follow a well-worn path. They've got point form. Maybe they even read them. As you can see, you know this isn't read because no one can put what I'm saying on paper, and that's a big clue. Because when I see an audition that is faithful to the page, you know what? I can see the page. In your performance, I see the page. I see all the lines. I see all the punctuation. And if the writer puts an exclamation mark or two at the end of a line, then I see that as well. But you can see that I don't know what's coming next. Whereas you, when you prepare a scene, you know exactly what's coming next. It's the next line. There'll be another Facebook very soon, and it's about the fact that sort of the next moment in the scene is not the next line in the scene. The next moment in the scene is the next moment in the scene. Whether it's the line or a pause or a laugh or a nothing. Lovely to talk to you. Happy Sunday. The recording will be ready soon. As I say, stay in touch with our page, theauditiontechnique.com. Oh, I should announce that sort of we've just launched one-on-ones. So you can book a kind of, you know, 20-minute or a 40-minute chat with me where you get to say things as well. So it's not just me doing the talking. Details are on our Facebook page. Yeah, all roads lead to the Facebook page, and thank you, Facebook, for sort of giving me Facebook Live, because it's a lovely new toy I've got. Guys, and this is me, by the way. This is me 2 weeks off coffee and off alcohol. So this is a kind of a totally natural energy. This is a grandfather on whatever I might be on because it's not any sort of creative things. Stay in tune to the Facebook page. Self-taping school has just been announced, and this current self-taping school, by the way, the self-taping school course, the 6-week course we run, we're halving the numbers because I've got a busy year coming up. So don't dilly-dally. Hope you understand dilly-dally. Don't do that. Don't do dilly-dally. Guys, lovely to talk. You take care. We'll see you soon. I'll be on the Facebook page for the next 10 or 15 minutes if you want to sort of, follow up any questions in that regard. So that's the Facebook page, the Audition Technique Facebook page. We'll talk to you then. See you.